You sit on the bed holding your tears but finally break down in tears as you covered your mouth to prevent letting any soap and you cried your heart out. I should not feel bad because I don't love him. I don't. Your voice breaks as she covered her mouth. What are you doing, Ryan? This is not you. This is not you. When someone knocked the door, as you quickly wiped your tears and Chloe walked slowly, but her brow straightened when she saw you crying, as she quickly rushed to you. Ryan, what happened? Are you okay? What happened? She asked in concern as you looked at her sniffing and shook your head. I want to leave this house, Chloe. I don't want to live here anymore. I can't. She hugged you. No, you can't. Please tell me what happened. Did Oppa say anything to you again? Tell me. I'll talk to him. As she is about to get up, but you stopped her as you held her wrist. No, please. It's just I don't want to live here anymore. Chloe's face turned pale. I can't live without you. Please don't say that, Fina. You know how important you are to me. Inhabitual. But we can't live together for a whole life. Someday I have to move out. I'm grateful to you and Mama that you all gave me so much love and treated me as your family. And Chloe hugged you. Please not now, Wine. Our graduation's still yet to complete. Till then, Lord, leave me, please. I beg you, she said, hugging you tightly. Chloe, as you tried to break the hug, but she hugged you tighter and closed your eyes. What happened? Tell us at least, he said, getting annoyed as Jungkook kept drinking, ignoring his words. Just a while ago, you informed us that you are not joining us. Now you suddenly came and tell that you are coming with us. But rather than helping here drinking, can you let us know what's going on? He asked seriously. Jungkook still didn't react as Taehyung scoffed annoyingly as Yoongi and Jimin exchanged glances, while Taehyung looked so annoyed that he's ready to throw hands on him. I feel like to smack your head. He's ready to throw hands while Jimin handled him. Yeah, stop it. Taehyung sighed as he backed, and Jimin's face turned. You don't have to join us in this mission. You go home and rest. He calmly said, and Jungkook looked at him with his red, intoxicated eyes. I can't go, he blurted out, being drunk as he caught up with wobbly legs. While three of them just watched him, and his man looks at him being surprised when he's trying to take his thing, which he barely can do, and Jimin sighed. Jungkook, you don't look alright. Just go home, we'll handle. Jungkook looks at him. She will leave if I'll go home. He blurted out, and Jimin rose straightened, knowing the context. Yoongi stared at him with no expression while Taeyang held her head as Jimin walks near him. Listen, I can't go. He shook his head, holding his tears. Yoongi looked at his man in the room as they quickly lowered their gaze, and he signaled them to leave as they bowed and left them alone. I knew it was a girl, the way he was behaving these days. He blurted out. Who is that girl? Who rejected him? He finally spoke and Jimin looked at him, eyeing on Jungkook. We'll get her for him. Tell me. Taehyung's eyes widened as also Jimin blinked multiple times while Jungkook is lost. She's a girl, Young, not toy. I meant by I'll talk to her first. Taehyung gave him a look. I know it was your context. Yoongi glares at him, making him look in here and there. I mean, it must be his fault. Don't you know how jerk man he is? Like, very rude. Jungkook glared at him and Taehyung cracked his throat. For this, he is all ears, he murmured. Aren't we going? We must be getting late. He coldly said. Three of them looked at him. Look at yourself and ask. While they just watched him, that's what he's doing. As he gulped down the whole bottle and Taehyung wide his eyes, and Jimin tried to stop him, but he jerked him away. He's gone, he murmured. Let's go. As he walked a little. But then only he fell on the floor, and they quickly rushed to him as Taehyung checked him and sighed, looking at him how hard he's trying to open his eyes. See, I told, and this man was going on mission with us, who is not able to handle himself, he spoke. Let's take him to farmhouse. We'll leave tomorrow. I don't think it's a good idea to drop him home in this condition. Taehyung nodded as he got up. looked at Yoongi, who has no expression, but it feels like something cooking in his mind as he is scanning him, and Taehyung waved at him, bringing him out of his thoughts. Don't tell me you are changing mind to change the mission. I don't want to beat up with sleepers, and that too from a girl. Taehyung blurted out as Yoongi gave him a look, and Jimin chuckled a little. Not with sleepers, but she holds the powers to break your bones, he said, joking, and Taehyung blinked multiple times. Don't tell me he fall for a wrestler, he said, being shocked, and Jimin face palmed. No, but think once, the girl who can make this condition of this rock, what can she do to you? Taehyung said, don't roll words, and anyways, I'm not into girls, he said, flexing in Yoongi's squint. You didn't tell us you have different tastes. You are into men. Taehyung made disgusted face while Jimin laughed. Ew, don't talk rubbish, Young. Don't do this to me, Mayan, he murmured unconsciously, bringing their focus back to him. Fine, Yoongi mumbled, and Taehyung gave him a look. Take him, otherwise we have to do something today which is against our mafia rule, he mumbled, looking at Yoongi. Who is this girl? He asked, being curious, and Taehyung rolled his eyes. Don't think something like that, Hyung. She is not just a normal girl, she is a storm. And I'm still wondering how and when did this happen. And again, I knew mine can never accept him. He's just opposite to her tactics. Is she beautiful? He asked. Jimin gave him a look. Ask him. When he will be conscious, he will tell you. And Taehyung said, I was just asking. Chloe looked for her brother to the entrance since he didn't show up after she last seen him in university. But Alex told her that he's on mission, but she wants to meet him brother desperately. She sighed as she is about to walk, but her foot tripped and about to fall when someone quickly catch. And she closed her eyes in fear and clutched his blazer tightly, prevent herself to get hurt. You okay? He asked, and she looked at him, breathing heavily, and nodded. She stands straight as he helped her, and he looked at her in concern. Where is Opa? She asked with despair. Alex didn't tell you? She nodded. He did, but he isn't picking my calls, nor Oma, Jimin sighed. He's in Italy. Chloe looks upset. I wanted to talk to him. Why do you like this always? She said, being grumpy, and he smiled a little. Don't worry, I'll let you talk to him once he'll be free. Chloe looked at him. But why isn't answering my calls? Being annoyed. You should have tried calling with Mayan's phone. He murmured. What? I mean, you didn't ask your best friend why he's doing that? Chloe sighed. I know, something happened between them. That's why Ryan being stubborn to leave the house. Jimin rose later. Is she leaving? Chloe pouted. I somehow stopped her for now. I wanted to talk Oppa, like what happened between them. Jimin poked his energy. Well, not possible now. I will connect you with him later. He said, and Chloe sighed. Is he alright? Jimin don't know what to say, so he nodded slowly, and she sighed. What are you doing here? You didn't go with Oppa? She asked, folding arms, and he looked at her, raising brows. Your Oppa sent me here. Since he is not here at least for a week, so I will be here in his absence. Chloe squinted blows. Why he sent you? You can protect us. I feel like if you will be with us, we need to protect you. Jimin blinked multiple times. What did you say? Chloe shrugged. What you have heard. As she is about to walk, but he pulled her back. Do you even know me? He asked, raising brows as she struggled to leave her hand. Yeah, leave my hand, or else I will complain, Oppa. Jimin looked at her seriously. Don't question my strength. Am I clear to you? He said, and she just stared him with a rage. When Zoe came running from the jogging, but her steps halted as she see the people. When Chloe's eyes landed on Zoe, Onne, she uttered as Jimin looked at her. And she looked at them but pretended to look away later. As she was about to walk, but Jimin stopped her. Zoe. Her steps halted, but she didn't look at him. as he walked to her but looked back at Chloe, who looked at them confused. Chloe, get ready and tell Ryan as well. I need to drop you both to university, he said, and she nodded as she walked inside. Jimin walked to her and she looked here and there, feeling awkward. Actually, Zoe cuts him off. I don't want to talk to you, Jimin, she said coldly, and she is about to walk, but he held her wrist. You are still my friend. At least listen to me from that relationship, he said softly, and she shut her eyes. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, she looked at him. But you did right, Jimin sighed. I know you must be hurt. I can't even imagine your pain, but I don't want to lose my very good friend. Please, he said softly, and Zoe looked at her side as she looked at him. After knowing what I feel for you, are you still able to continue our friendship? She asked with regret. We can try at least. I respect your feelings, but trust me, I always seen you as my good friend. She pressed her lips. You were right. It's me who ruined our friendship, she said, feeling guilty, and he walked near her. No, you didn't, but I feel bad for you, that I break your heart. After seeing Jungkook, I realized how badly I have hurted you, he murmured the last line. But I still need time. I know it's not your fault, Jimin sighed. Not yours too, he softly said, and she nodded. Then I want my friend back, he said with a slight smile, and she nodded with a painful grin. I'll try, she whispered, and he pulled her in a friendly hug. You will definitely find someone who loves you more, she chuckled, slightly wiping her tears, which unknowingly escaped. But did you tell Jungkook about that? He broke the hug. I need to do gym before doing that. His punches are really out, Zoe chuckled. At least Chloe, Jimin pretended to think. I'm scared of rejection. She shook her head. Be brave, you're a man, Jimin sighed. I don't want to join Jungkook's company, sorry. She frowned. What do you mean? He's on the same boat as yours, but he's very serious. Zoe's eyes widened. Don't tell me that happened, Jimin nodded. Happened and bro got rejected harshly. Zoe widened her eyes, blinking multiple. It has to happen since the things he has done before. If I would have her place, I would do the same, she said, shrugging her shoulder, and Jimin poked his energy. But he's really heartbroken, he said, pitying him, and she made guilty. Oh, where is he? I didn't see him. He's in Italy, Zoe said. Oh, I should talk to him then. You both got up from the car when they're about to walk, but stops as Jimin speaks, and Chloe looked at him. Jimin walked while eyeing on one. Actually, Vine, I need to talk to you. Not now, but when you will be free. She looked at him. Me too, Jimin, she said with a slight smile, and Jimin just stared at her. And when his phone rang, he recognized the caller ID as he looked at Chloe. He said, extending the phone to her. Opa? She asked, and he nodded, and her grip tightened on her back, and Jimin noticed. She took it before attending, and as she walked away a little while, Jimin looked at Vine as he corrected his thought before speaking. Actually, I'm getting late for the class, she said, cutting him off. Vine, he blocks her way as she finally looked at him. Were you upset with me? I didn't do anything, he said, and Vine struggled with words. I'm not, she replied with straight face, and Jimin sighed. No, I'm upset with anyone, she said, pressing her words as Jimin looked at her. Then, why are you upset? He asked, and she looked at him. Who said I'm upset? I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine, she replied with a small smile. Listen, I know what happened between you and Jungkook. Nothing happened between us, she replied, and Jimin sighed. I know you might not be affected, but he is. Mine exhaled furiously. I don't want to discuss about it, please, she said coldly. You okay? she asked, and Jungkook nodded slowly. I'm really upset with you, she angrily said, and Jungkook sighed. Leave that. Tell me you reached university on time or not, he said, sounding low. And Chloe flipped the camera to show the university gate. See, we are here, she said, showing it, but his eyes got stuck on the particular person. As he felt his own energy restore as his hand slowly brushed the phone screen, looking at her, who looked tense while talking, and he felt his heart aching, but suddenly she looked in the direction and his heart skipped a beat. Are you done? She said with annoyance in her voice, and Chloe looked at him. Almost, he replied, and Ryan looked back at her. Don't become moderator between us. I don't want to hear anything about her, she said, being annoyed. Seriously, it's you, Ryan. Aren't you feeling a little bad about him? At least you should have asked about his well being, he blurted out, and she closed her eyes. Why should I, when I don't feel anything for him? She replied, and Jimmy looked at her unbelievable. He's stupid then, he brutally said, and Ryan closed her eyes. I'm leaving. She walked a little when Jimin spoke again. You know why I didn't come home? Because he's thinking you don't want to see his face and might leave. Her steps halted and she looked at him. Then you're wrong here. He doesn't want to see my face. She coldly said, and Jimin rolled his eyes. When Ryan walked a little, her foot tripped as she's about to fall. Ryan, the loudest voice came, but someone saved her before falling down. And she didn't care about that she did get hurt or who saved her, but she looked for the voice as if she felt Jungkook's hair. Chloe watched his brother since then, and in that moment she understood the situation. The way Jungkook moved and his expression changed in reaction to concern. Are you alright? He asked in concern as he's holding her tight. While Vine nodded as she looked around, and Jimin stepped back as Bogum helped her to stand while her focus is somewhere else, and Bogum wiped her face with his handkerchief. Jungkook clenched his fist as he smashed the phone on the floor in anger, making Yoongi and Taehyung to look at him as he quickly got up. My phone! He bent down. You broke yours already, now mine. What's wrong with you, Jungkook? He knowingly said. Jungkook ran fingers through his hair in anger before kicking the table, and Taehyung rolled his eyes. Why are you being a god of distraction? But Jungkook breaks something too while Yoongi watched him. Yoong, Yoong, he walked to Yoongi. I'm ready to change the mission before he comes to us after things, the way he's destroying things. I can get his madness, he said, pleading. I'm ready to get beaten by slippers. At least it would be better than his madness, he said, eyeing on him. Jungkook sat on the couch angrily as he loosened his tie and leaned back his neck on the sofa, closing his eyes. Young, please exit, otherwise I would go mad. It hurts, it badly hurts, he said with pain and frustration, and Yoongi finally got. Give me her details. He spoke coldly and he opened his eyes, shaking his head. Please get me rid of these feelings, not that, he said, and then closed his eyes. You should find other one then, he said, folding arms across his chest, and Jungkook shook his head. Only her, no one else, he stubbornly said, and Taeyang sighed. There's a stone. You didn't see it, he said, throwing the stone away. Thank you, Sunpin, she said while Chloe walked to Jamin, eyeing at Ryan and Virgo. Am I right what I'm thinking? She asked him. Jamin looked at her. Yes, he said, and Chloe closed her eyes. Then why me every time? She murmured. Did Jungkook say it? She nodded slowly and he closed his eyes while exhaling. Chloe, aren't you coming? She nodded as she walked. Jimin sighed as he dialed someone's number before sitting in the car. Chloe snapped at her. She was so lost, and Vine looked at her coming out of her thoughts. This lecture is free. she said, sitting, and Wine nodded. Chloe looked at her briefly while she is lost somewhere. Wine, she called her as she looked at her. She put a hand on her hand and smiled. Actually, we never discussed this before. I wanna ask, what's your thought on having a life partner? Mine just did. I'm just asking in general, she corrected her. I don't have any thoughts right now because I never thought like that. She said in Chloe's life. I know, but in your perspective, how a man should be? She asked and she gave her the look. Answer now, she said, insisting in Mine's side. I don't think these kind of men do exist, but yeah. A person who would be understanding, a person who understands your unsaid words. Most importantly, who doesn't like to dominate girls, who doesn't have male ego. He should be loyal, and his love should be pure and genuine. She describes as Chloe listen. Being a girl, it's not easy to trust, but someone who makes you believe in him, who makes you feel safe, a person whose priority is you. And last and importantly, there should be trust. He should trust you because there is no relationship if there is no trust. He said with a smile and Chloe admired him. Your ideal type is really ideal. Only 0.01% men are like this. Even I don't believe I didn't see some example. Chloe chuckles. Don't worry, you will definitely find one, she said and he shook her. Well, I don't want. Men are kinda obsessed. And then they name it as love, she said and Chloe said. I can't feel it since I didn't face it, but yeah. If we didn't find a good life partner, we both will be together for lifetime. Sure, he replied with a grin and she hugged her. I love you the most. You're my forever buddy. Wine chuckled. Me too, she replied. Did you get that, ma'am? He asked 38 times. Zoe looked at him annoyed, while Jimin controlled his smile. Do one thing. Why don't you do it? She said sarcastically and Yoongi glared at them. I was just asking. Don't ask. And keep quiet. Let me do my work. Taeyoung kept going. Zoe noticed his face as she felt a bit bad talking to him rudely. Hotel security is not easy to break, she said, correcting her thought and Taeyoung smiled. No issues. Just do your work till then I got it, she said with a wide smile and Taeyoung blinked. You did? She nodded. Too quick, he said, being surprised while Jimin chuckled. She's our personal hacker for a reason, he proudly said in Zoe's. Okay, I think all security cameras in your control by now. He nodded, checking. Great. Just do your work before they catch us it. Then, beauty with brains, Zoe smiled, shaking her head. When her gaze shifts to Jungkook, who is sitting like he has no interest in doing work, she took the phone, tapped, checking. I want to talk to you, she said. And then shifts camera to him. Please do that. He's behaving like crazy man, he said. What happened between you and Wine? She asked and Jungkook looks at her with no expression. See, I can understand your pain. You know very well. Jungkook sighed, closing eyes. Everyone does except her. He called. She does. Don't think she doesn't understand your pain. But something is stopping her, she said as he looked at him. Is she alright? He asked and Zoe shrugged. Might be or might not be. Then Jungkook sighed. At least you both talked rather than clearing misunderstanding. You choose to walk away from situation, she said and Jungkook listened. As if she wants to listen to me, he said and Zoe sighed. At least try to clear the air, she said and Jungkook looked. I can't face her, he said and Zoe looked at him. When you are in love, you have to put your ego aside to understand and make them understand, she said. You think it's ego? He asked and she nodded. From both sides. I don't think it's gonna work if you keep distancing like this. You know how relationship works when you both are in love and communicating. Are you sure she loves you? She asked, and Jungkook has no answer. I think she does, because no one affect like that if they don't have feelings for you. She said, eyeing on German, and German focused on her. I don't know what should I do. He whispered and Zoe looked at him. You love her, right? Jungkook nodded slowly and she smiled. You know when the relationship is great, when the man loves more, she said with a soft smile. I know you do, so grab the opportunity before it's too late, she said with so much emotions. Chloe, she approached as she has been busy in her phone. She just hummed in her list. Did Jungkook confirm when he's coming back? I'm worried about him, she said with concern, and Chloe looked at her. I don't know, Ma asked him, but he didn't say anything, she said, and her mother sat on the sofa. I feel he's not alright. Can you call him? She said, and Chloe nodded. She dialed his number, but he didn't pick. He's not answering. He must be busy, she said, and Mr. John sighed. Okay, tell me whenever he called back, she nodded. While Wine stood there watching as she closed her eyes and walked away. It's been 4 days and you never talked to him since then. Even when Chloe or anyone call him, you walk away from there. Jimin is hinting inside when Wine stopped him as he looked at her and gave her a small smile. How can I help you? He asked, and Wine looked at him hesitated. Actually, I wanted to say this to Mr. John, that he should come back if he's not coming back because of me. Jimin chuckled right. This is absurd, he murmured as he's about to walk, but you stopped him. Exactly, this is absurd. It's his house. Jimin looked at. Absurd is that you want me to say him to come back when you know whom he will listen only, he said, and he sighed. I almost done with finding a commendation. I will leave anyways, she said, and Jimin sighed. Tell him to come back, and I assure you, he will be here by evening. I can't say, he said, and he couldn't say further. He's about to walk but stopped as he looked at you again. His number is same, he said, and walked inside, and you closed your eyes. After procrastinating for an hour, she finally dialed his number. While her heart is beating so fast, and the moment she felt her heart stopped as call got attended, and the only thing she heard silence but heavy breaths. She remained silent for a while. None of them say a word. Mr. John, she said. Only thing she heard in return was humming, and she closed her eyes before speaking. Mama is worried for you. Please come back. And in return, she got silent. Are you there? She asked to confirm. I don't know, he replied, and she closed her eyes. Mr. John, please stop behaving like a kid. This behavior doesn't suit you. After saying that you don't want to see my face, you disappear. That's not right, she said in one go. If I didn't leave, you must have, he replied, and Ryan stared at her phone. It's because I said, even though I didn't mean it, but you mean it. You would have. I got to know you that much in these years, didn't I? You didn't reply as you leaned your head on the wall. Come back, it's your house, she replied. I can't, he replied as she made a painful, annoyed face. Mr. John, if you come back or not, the only thing is sure to happen that I'm leaving by this week. It doesn't matter, she replied, feeling not in her trouble. Don't worry, if you come back today, I don't move out today. There's a lot left, she said with painful grin. You are too stubborn, aren't you? He asked with every thought, and she shook her head. Not more than you, she replied. Don't bother your family because of anyone. She heard him chuckling. Do you think they will be happy after seeing me in this condition? He said with emotions while she remained silent. She declined the call as she throws her phone aside and hugged her knee. Taehang walks in as he throws himself tiredly followed by Yoongi, and Taehang looked at him. 3 more days I have to survive here, then we'll go back. He tiredly said. Did you meet Daniel? He asked and Jungkook looked at him. He just hummed as he got up. I'm going back to Korea. The rest you both can handle. Taeyang got up immediately. Why suddenly? You know right, we have a lot left. You can't leave in between. Jungkook coldly looked at him. I'm leaving. He coldly said as he walked out while Taeyang groaned annoyingly. What we will say to Daniel now? Final deal he has to sign. He asked Yoongi. I'll handle him. Let him go. Taeyang laughed dryly. Do whatever. He murmured, throwing himself on the bed. You know he always do like this. Zoe and Chloe laughed while you just chuckled a bit, shaking your head. See this one? He's always in grumpy mood. She said, so, showing the picture while Zoe. It looks like someone forced him to click this picture. Chloe smiled. Only in childhood he could be forced to do things, but now impossible. They smiled. I agree in this, she said while you smiled. He's stubborn from childhood then, you said smiling softly, taking the one of picture. He's father of stubbornness and arrogancy. Now no one can compete him in that. He chuckled while Chloe shook her head laughing a little. I would agree before, but not now because Wine beat him in this. He looked at her squinting. You are saying I'm arrogant? Chloe shook her head. No, not that. Like the way you reply him is really testing his patience. Like you're bickering. I don't love to fight with him, but he's like that. I can't help. He never talks straight, she said, and Zoe shook her head. No, never. I agree in this, even when we were in school. But he used to behave like this only, even in starting. I used to cry a lot because of him. At the end, we made it somehow. Really? He was rude back then? Yeah, nothing compared to now. Ask Jimin, he will tell you how they used to fight. You said. Tough man. But you know, ne, Ryan and Opa fights are kinda cute. Like, you will enjoy them. You squint. You enjoy when he used to roast me. Chloe chuckled and nodded. No, I mean, you both are fire and unbeatable. Like how he used to say to you and his favorite dialogue. You girl, don't come in front of me, otherwise you will die by my hands someday. You mimicked him while Zoe wide her eyes and smiling, and Chloe laughed. Yeah, this one. How you used to say, do it again. You really copied him. He shook her head, smiling. This one was his favorite, Chloe nodded. And when he called you kid, you laughed a little. Like this, I don't fight with kids. You mimicked him, and Chloe rolled on the bed while Chloe chuckled. You know who I am. You mimicked him again while Chloe holds her stomach while laughing. Zoe was smiling when her smile slowly disappeared as she looked at the tall figure standing behind her. And she's about to say something but he gestured her to stay quiet. And I was like, yeah, some kind of gangster. Gangster. She acted the same as he reacted to this. At the end, laughed a little. It was quite fun seeing his reaction. She chuckled a little at the end. And she sighed. I will miss it, she murmured and smiling a little. She turns and her heart skips a beat when she saw him standing on the door. And it felt like ages to her that she saw him last. Opa, she looked at him surprised. When did you come back? What a pleasant surprise, he smiled a little. A while ago, when you were laughing, holding your stomach. Mine lowered her gaze. We missed you a lot, she said, and he just smiled. Me too. he said, while you look here and there. Oma was worried for you. Did you meet her? He shook his head. Not yet. She was sleeping when I came back, he said, and she nodded, while his gaze was fixed on her, as she stood there silently but then looked at Chloe. It's late. I think I should sleep too. Zoe looked at Jungkook but initially nodded. Okay, good night. And you good night, she replied with a soft smile. When she walked a little with nervousness as she looked at Chloe. Good night. Chloe nodded. Good night, she replied. And she took a small glance of him and walked passing by him as her hand just brushed to his, making him close his eyes, smelling her fragrance and feeling her touch, which she craved for. Even though it was for a second and not intentional, but still it made him so calm as he looked back to see her disappearing figure. While Chloe watched his brother and she looked at Zoe, he shrugged her shoulders. You were looking in your phone for something when Jungkook walked down, and you took a glance before turning your face aside as he slowly walked eyeing on you. Chloe, aren't you going college today? She looked up. No, Appa, our classes are over because exams are starting soon. He nodded as his gaze was on you. You decided to walk away from there as you were about to walk when Mrs. John stopped you. Where are you going? She asked and you smiled. Nowhere, just in wagon. She said in low. Breakfast is ready. Come and have. Come, son, Chloe. She is about to walk, but you held her wrist. Mama, I'll have my breakfast in room. You said in low voice and she frowned. Wait, what happened? She asked and he shook her head, smiling slightly. Nothing. I have just an important work. She said and nodded. Mama, she approached her. Mrs. John hummed in her response. Actually, I wanted to tell you something, she hesitantly said as she glanced at Chloe, and Chloe looked down, knowing her content. Actually, as I'm completing my graduation, so I'm moving to other city to for higher studies. Mrs. John replied multiple times, and she couldn't process what you just said. While Jungkook watched you feasting and lowering his gaze, Chloe's face turned pale, and Mrs. John cupped her face. You are saying that you are moving out from this house. She nodded slowly. We talked about it, didn't we? She said seriously, and I looked at her. But I don't have any options. Please understand. I want to complete my higher studies from Seoul. She smiled. No issues. We all moved to Seoul house. Hey Jungkook, she softly said, and he looked at her with seriousness. No, Mama. I gather so much courage to take this step. And at some point, I think it's right time for me to take my responsibilities. Hope you understand. She said, and Mrs. John gave shifts to Chloe, and tears followed. We talked already about this. Our friendship or our bond won't affect because of distance, she said, with a warm smile, and Chloe smiled slightly. Yes, we already planned our future. Then we won't get married. We have each other for a lifetime. You chuckled a bit and Mrs. John smiled shook her head. Stop it, she murmured. Yeah. If you have decided, I won't force you. But remember, I will be always your mother. Mine smiled and hugged her. Yes, Mama. She kissed side of her head. As they broke the hug and Chloe hugged her tightly. I love you. She said, I love you more, she replied. While Jungkook just watched them as they broke the hug. I'm thankful to you all for being by my side always. Thank you from my heart, she said while glancing at Jungkook, who is standing at distance watching her being helpless and clueless at this moment. Chloe is roaming in her room while scrolling through her phone as she heard a knock on the door. As she looked up, it's Jungkook who is standing at her. Oppa, why are you knocking? Come inside. Actually, I wanted to talk to you. No, I mean, I need your help. he hesitantly asked, and she looked at him, a bit confused. Chloe knocked the door as Wayne looked at the door. "Why are you knocking? Come in," Wayne said, and Chloe walked inside. "You still here?" she asked, and "Wait, what happened?" She looked at you with done face. "Yesterday we have planned for barbecue. You forgot. You poked your inner cheek." "Yes, I did," you said, and Chloe sighed, taking your books. "Listen. Don't you dare to make an excuse," she said, glaring at you, and you sighed. "You really behave like my boyfriend," she chuckled. "I am, baby. You're smart. Okay, let's go." She nodded. "Listen, Ryan, do one thing. Bring cutlery in. It's in basement. I'm taking glitter. I forgot cutlery." You nodded slowly. "Okay. Thank you. We are outside." She walked as you sighed, also walked. You opened the door as it was dark in your front. "Why lights are off?" she said, and she walked inside, carefully searching for a switch. She just took things. Why she switched off all lights? At least one light she should let on, she murmured. But she turned and faced as she heard door closing sound. Her body got goosebumps as she hurriedly rushed to the door, but her foot got tripped in darkness as she groaned. And she felt someone's presence around her, and her grip is on someone as she slowly opened her eyes, and her heart fluttered as her eyes met his intense one. She saw his eyes in dim light of candle, who's holding in his one hand. He slowly placed a candle on the table and holds her gently as she is so surprised to speak. "You okay?" he asked with softened voice. "What are you doing here?" She said something. He's about to say something and lights on, and there is a sound of bursting, and mine flinched a little as rose petal falls on them like rain, while she looked at the roses, and his eyes never left her face. Her dazzling eyes and the innocence on her face, which is making his heart to beat like crazy. Her gaze slowly shifts to him as their gaze locked in a doting eye contact. He couldn't control himself and hugged her softly, making her rose at her throat. As she tried to break the hug, but her hands couldn't protest. His grip tightened, and he snuggled his face into her, while she felt her body is too weak to react or protest for this moment. She let him hug him, and he hugged her for a few good minutes, like she is his peace. And he broke the hug after a while and looked at her. "Please forgive me. Why are you making me suffer so much? I'm ready to do everything, but please forgive me now. Give me a chance," he said with soft voice and pain. "Mr. Jean, please make me yours. I'm not mad at you. I was just hurt, and only you can heal me." Her eyes softened, listening him. "What you want?" she asked, feeling defeated. "You, only you," he said, and she closed her eyes. "Please," she said, shaking her head. As she turned to open the door, but couldn't. If she tried to unlock it, it didn't. As she looked back at Jungkook a little angrily, and he held her hand. "I got this opportunity after really good hard work. We're not going out until we'll solve it," he said softly. "I'm sorry, Oppa, I can't help you. I don't want Wine to hurt," she said, denying, and Jungkook closed his eyes. "Do you think I will hurt her?" She looked at him. "Sorry to say, but that's what you did, Oppa." Jungkook sighed heavily. "Don't you trust your brother?" "Why would I? She is leaving. You know why? It's because of you," Jungkook made face. "Then I'll make her stay. Just help me. Your fence is really stubborn." She still shook her head. "Still no. Chloe, please." Chloe looked at the side. "Chloe, I love her," he said with desperation as she looked at him shocked. "What?" she asked, and he nodded as he folded hands in front of her. "Please, I beg you. Otherwise, I don't know what I will do." he said, pleading as she held his hand. If you really mean it, Oppa, then make efforts. Don't look for a shortcut. Jungkook gave her a look. You can't be serious. She controlled her smile. You want to snatch my best friend from me? Why would I let you do that? And anyways, we decided to live together lifelong. And why are you ruining our future plans? Jungkook looked at her. Are you for real? He asked, and she pressed her lips together. We are serious. Jungkook looked at her, squinting. So I have to fight with my own sister first for my future wife? He asked, folding arms across his chest, and she shrugged. Seriously, Chloe, why you want to be my rival? You know how possessive I am for her. Chloe raised his brow. I am more possessive than you, Oppa. Jungkook looked at her pissed. I came to a wrong person, I guess. She laughed a little. She is my wife already. Jungkook glared at her. Enough of you now. For God's sake, stop calling her your wife. He warned her, and Chloe scoffed. Are you jealous? Jungkook glared at her. You are sick. Chloe rolled her eyes. You break her heart, then I am healing. What's wrong? He took a deep breath. Let's not fight. You're my sister, right? Please help me now. Chloe said. Okay, I'll say it. Jungkook gave her a look. Don't look at me like that. I'll change my mind. He gave her a tight lips. If you didn't help me, I'll send you to Island alone. So that I can make your best friend mine. Chloe's mouth hung open. What's wrong with you, Oppa? He scoffed. I can do that, so think about it, he said, warning her as he is about to walk. I'll tell her, she angrily said. I dare you, he replied, and walked, and Chloe blinked multiple times. He's so mean, she murmured. He intertwined his hands in hers as he walked inside while she just followed him, while her gaze fixed on him. As she looked around, her eyes sparkled looking at the beautiful candle and rose decoration. Jungkook looked at her as he lifted her hand and held his ear before going on his knees, making Ryan's eyes to go wide a little. As she tried to stop him, he's on. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Ryan looked away. Why are you asking sorry again and again, Mr. John? She said, getting a bit annoyed. You are upset with me for my rash behavior, for yelling at you, for everything I did. He softly said, and she looked at him. Who said I'm upset with you? She asked, and he held both of her hands. Then why are you behaving like that? Why you don't want to accept me, my love? And her eyes glistened as she looked down. I'm afraid, she blurted out as she looked at me. I'm afraid of you, Mr. John. You know why? She said, and she just stared at her, softening his gaze. Speak up. That's what I want to listen. He said with softness. My insecurities. You know, that our thought process doesn't match. We both are too opposite. Your madness for me. It makes me sick. You don't own me, she said, shaking her head while she just listened. Love is not what become a barrier to other person, but I'm scared of my own feelings that it will be a barrier for me in future, she said with so much. I have my own reasons, my own insecurities. He got up as he walked near her, cupping her face. Then speak up, love. I'm here to clear those insecurities. I'm ready to change. He speaks softly as she looked at him. Will you able to put your male ego aside? She asked, guilty eyes. There is no ego in love, he said. You closed your eyes looking other side as she looked at him. Will you always react jealous and possessive if I talk to other men? She asked, and he remained silent on this. I also feel jealous, but I didn't react like you. Do I? If you can have female friends, then why I can't have a male friend? Mr. Jean. He kissed her hand, looking in her eyes as she closed her eyes feeling his touch. Tell me whom you want me to leave. He whispered and she looked at him a bit annoyed with tears. I'm not asking you to leave anyone. I'm just asking you to be act normal. If I know you belong to me, why would I feel insecure about it? Then why you can't understand this? She said and he wiped her tears. Then love me enough now that I won't feel that way. That someone might steal you from me. I won't feel that way. I just want you, all that matters, nothing else, he whispered. Sejong. First stop crying, then we'll talk, he said as she looked at him sniffing. He poured the water in glass before extending to her. She just stared at him with rage and pain, and he made her drink while he wiped her tears. I'm not crying, it's coming out their own. If you didn't stop crying, then I might cry, he said, making her gaze shocked. Since when you started loving me this much? She asked, wiping her tears. I don't know, he blurted out and she looked. I'm not your type. I know. It makes me love you more deeply and unconditionally. She stood there, closing her eyes, trying to gather herself. And he just adored her. And every second he is feeling that he is falling deeper. She looked at him again. I don't like you being mine. I'll leave, just say. He let her complete, making her speechless. Do you love me that much? He moved closer to her. It can't be measured. My love is for you infinite. She looked at him for a while as she broke into tears and hugged him suddenly. He closed his eyes as she sobbed, hitting his chest slightly, while he pulled her in his embrace gently and closed his eyes. Why are you making me weak? I'm not supposed to do this, she mumbled while crying. I just can't. Why are you doing this? She asked, looking at him, and he looked at her. What? He asked, getting himself. Why are you loving me when you can find anyone easily? He wiped her tears. Because you are the first woman in my life whom I let control me, for whom I am going to against my rules. You hit his chest slightly. Liar. You are lying, right? I am the first woman in your life. You are a mafia. I'm not a womanizer, Ryan. Not I am a bad person. Yes, I am a mafia, but I do have my rules. Can't break them, she whispered as she looked at him sniffing. I won't control you. I won't force you, never. Please give me a chance. He whispered. If you did, she asked and he wiped her tears. I'd rather die than hurting you, he said and he closed her eyes. All the time you were in his embrace as he stared at her, and she opened her eyes, looking directly in his eyes with so much courage as she cupped his face and tipped off while he just watched her. I love you. Yes, I do love you, she whispered, and a lone tear made its way from his cheek, which she wiped gently and captured his lips, closing her eyes, making him froze. And within a second, he closed his eyes, and tears uncontrollably dropped from his eyes, and he pulled her more closer, deepening the kiss as he lifted her up a little. After a while, they broke as he connected his forehead with hers, closing eyes. Thank you for giving me peace. I love you. I love you so much, she whispered and he kissed her forehead. I love you to moon and back. I love you till I die. I love you always. And he chuckled with tears. You looked at each other with teary eyes. He leaned in as he packed your eyes, making you close your eyes. I love you to the most beautiful girl on earth, he said, kissing her every inch of her face. While she chuckled as you looked at him. Don't you have something in your eyes? She said, chuckling, and he looked at her with seriousness. Yes, I have. I have you in my eyes, he said with sincerity while you chuckled, a little shaking your head. As her eyes locked in love and affectionate eye contact, as she kissed his face, you are the most handsome and beautiful human being on the earth, she said, and he blushed at her compliment as she chuckled, looking at his reaction. He cupped her face as his gaze shifted to her lips, making her nervous as he leaned, making her close eyes and tightening the grip on his shoulder. Then only the door swung open as four of them fall on the floor, making Wine to open her eyes flinching. Jungkook looked in the direction as Jimin and Taeyang quickly got up while Chloe and Zoe stood straight. Wine quickly turned her face to Jungkook, closing her eyes, feeling embarrassed. Jungkook closed his eyes in embarrassment. Taeyang and Jimin laughed nervously while Zoe and Chloe exchanged glances as Chloe scratched her head. Actually, we came here to call you for barbecue. Jungkook gave her a glare. No, actually, we came to see whether you both are okay or not. We thought Ryan would have smacked your head. Your eyes idle, and you looked at him. Why would I do that? His behavior is like this, he said and in return earning that glare from Jungkook while Zoe cleared her throat. So you also? He said in disbelief and she shook her head. No, I told them. See, I said right, you guys ruined their moment. They were about to kiss. You quickly turned your face to Jungkook, feeling embarrassed. I mean, you all ruined a beautiful moment, she said, clearing through. She's lying. She's the one who gave us this idea. He immediately responds, receiving a punch in return from Zoe. He looked at Jungkook, feeling embarrassed as her whole face turned red, while Jungkook looked at, and he glared at them as he walked a little, covering him. You guys don't have manners, right? He said angrily while they played with fingers and Taeyang laughed dryly. By the way, you did this decoration quite good, he said, touching flower. Isn't it too much decoration for a proposal? I mean, it's not your first night, he said while you closed your eyes, turning red. Young, he speaks while Chloe punched him. Aren't you too shameless? He poked his cheeks. Come on, we all are grown up, and what they were doing here, holy things. Enough, Young, he said, giving him tight lip smile as he noticed him. Sorry. Jungkook shook his head and sighed as he looked at you while you couldn't make eye contact with him. I assume you all here by just now, not from beginning. They smiled nervously. Actually, we were here from beginning, and her grip tightened on Jungkook's. But we didn't see anything. We just heard your conversation, she added while Jungkook shot them clear. Yeah, and you successfully snatched my wife, she said, huffing, and Jimin looked at Chloe instead. What did you say? He asked, being shocked. Of course, why? We planned a future, then Oppa came between us, she said sarcastically, and Wine chuckled a little. When Jungkook smirked as he pulled Wine by her waist, she looked at him surprised. Yes, see, she's mine, he said as he kissed her cheeks, making her eyes widen. She pushed him tightly. Chloe made an angry pout. You are ungrateful, Oppa. I helped you, he chuckled. Yeah, but after all, it's my hard work first making up with you. Making up? Say you blackmailed me. He scratched his head and you looked at him. Blackmail? Yeah, he told me that he sent me to an Iceland. She said, glaring at him, and you glared at him. While I am alive, how can he? He said with desperation while all of us them focus went to him. When he cleared his throat. I mean, how can he do that? He said, correcting his throat. They sighed except Jungkook, who is still glaring at him with suspicion. Now we'll leave, you both can continue. Your eyes widen. No, we'll come with you. She tried to walk, but Jungkook pulled her wrist as they signaled at him. Wine looked at you. Mr. John, we're not done yet. Love, he said, raising brows. Rest of them made O face. Mr. John, she said, widening her eyes, almost threatening him. Jungkook gently pulled you closer, wrapping arms around your waist, while you closed your eyes as he smiled at them. Okay, we are coming. While they glared as a wish, he said, shrugging. They walked. You nudged elbow to Jungkook, making him chuckle as you walked following them, and he ran behind. You should have your word, he said, and Jungkook looked at him. What do you mean? He looked in the direction of mine as his gaze followed. Means not to break her heart in any case. She's too naive for this. You could understand her situation as a girl now. How much courage it took her to be with you after knowing how you are, he said with sincerity. Jungkook smiled softly as he looked at her. I understand her, but seriously, I need her more than anyone, he said softly. She's source of my strength. I don't know when she became this much important to me, but living without her, that one thought will take my life, he added, smiling at her. I do trust you with this. Jungkook looked at him. But I like your care for her. He smiled. She's like that. I felt she's my little sister. I feel if you hurt her, I will break your bones. He smiled. Wait. He looked at in her. Wyan, he called her as she looked at him, and he gestured her and she walked in. Yes, she said. Meet Kim Taeyong, my brother. Taeyong smiled. Hello. She greeted him and he greeted back with a smile. He told me not to hurt you. If I did, he will break my bones. He looked at him with a smile and he lowered his gaze, smiling. He sees you as his little sister. You smiled warmly, feeling overwhelmed. Thank you, Oppa. He smiled as he patted your head. If you said me, Oppa, then never hesitate to complain me about him. Any kind of help, I will be here. Thank you so much. It means a lot. You have two brothers, Jungkook. I will introduce him when he will be here. Thanks. He will be more protective than me. I'm being honest. True, he said. While he looked at Jimin, who was busy with Zoe Chloe with his mom, laughing with them, and Jungkook shook his head, except Jimin Young, who smiled. He's my best buddy. Smiling, looking at him, and Jungkook looked at him. And me? He asked, and he looked at him, nervous, while Taeyang smiled, shaking his head. Your love, she replied, and he blushed while she walked, and Taeyang noticed it. He looked more flustered than her. He said, laughing a little, and he scratched his head, while she kept looking at him from distance. I can't help, he replied. He walked to her while Taeyang drank his drink while shaking his head. As he took out his phone, Jungkook sat beside Vine, adoring her, and he clicked them before sending it and receiving a heart on it. He smiled in turn. Now you won't leave, right? He asked, kissing her hand, and she looked at him. He just confessed, not married. I have to go. He frowned. Why? She smiled. I have my own responsibility as well, right? What I said for moving is the valid reason. Jungkook pulled her close. But you forgive me, then why? He said, and she looked at him. I did, but imagine you're coming my home. It will be more exciting, no? Meeting late, FaceTime, and all. It will be fun. She excitedly said and gave her. Then I have to wife you up soon to be with you. He looked at him, squinting. Not anytime soon. There is a lot left. Jungkook gave her a look. I will buy a house next to your house, then I will live in your house all day long. He looked at him unbelievably. You're too much. Why to make me wait? You smiled. It will build our relationship stronger. Jungkook sighed, then smiled. We'll see. He kissed her cheeks, making her eyes widen. As the people sitting beside them corrected thought. Son, we're here, Mrs. Young said. Jungkook rolled his eyes. So I can't talk to her? You're not talking, she mischievously said and Jungkook sighed. As he caught her before lifting you up in his arms, making your eyes widen, all of them looked at him shocked at his boldness. We're going to have some privacy, he said sarcastically. Jungkook, they will not let us talk peacefully, let's go. They smiled ear to ear. Jungkook walked. Only for talk? Jimin asked. To kiss her, he replied. Then you close your eyes as you hide yourself in his embrace. Okay, make me uncle soon, he shouted, making Jungkook giggle.